We're live, baby.
Waiting on you, man.
What's up, man?
Oh no! Why do I have to remind you? I'm doing it for like 2 months, and I
Well,
still
no, we always say what's up.
No,
like,
no, I know. And then you have to.
Ask you how you doing. You ask me what's. We kind of catch up a little bit. Then we start,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Ain't that how that go? So, how was your week?
It was all right. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, they're always kind of interesting.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
being a kind of an introspective chap that I am.
Introspective.
Yeah.
Is that like an intellect and introvert mixed together?
I'm not. No, not because. Not really. I mean, it's introspective is your.
Take on things, right?
Well, no, you're kind of thoughtful.
Okay.
If you're thinking, and I guess you could say it's you go inside, but I wouldn't say it's introverted. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I do know what you mean.
Yeah, and find myself doing much more of it as I've gotten older.
As you get wiser.
No, I'm real careful about it. And then we still got to do the yo and then. Wait, no, not yet, because I haven't asked you how you are.
Okay.
But I'm the only. Oh, I want a quick thing about wise and wisdom. I am unbelievably careful never to cop to being like wise because of my years. What I have that people much younger than I don't have is experience. Okay.
Okay.
And to me, that the experience is the thing, and it also doesn't mean that I've necessarily.
What did you say? What did you say in your podcast? Experience is the currency of life.
I think I may have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for quoting me.
No problem, baby. You say a lot of wise things.
Well, no. A lot of things, based on having been around for a while. But I'm very, what would you call it? Always said with great humility. Okay.
Respect.
Now.
Respect.
Yeah.
All right. So.
How are you, Toots?
I'm like, dude, I'm ecstatic. I made a 10-plan goal. I got like 3 of them pretty much wiped out. I got 7 that I got to work on in the next 2 weeks to 90 days, and they're all in reach. So that's always a dope thing. I hate setting goals that are hard to reach and that are not attainable. So I'm really pumped up the way my life is unfolding, because if you would have asked me 6 months ago what the plan is, I wouldn't have had all of this on my table. So I'm really stoked to be where I'm at right now.
But, it's of course it's a direct result of, our having, gotten involved with this show and then
Facts.
The podcast, right?
Facts. Power of proximity. It's who you surround yourself with. You know what I mean? Facts. So, if it's your first time watching the show, make sure you give us a subscribe and a like, and you share this with as many friends as you got. This is the Foster and
Feinstein
Show. We've been doing this every week. What is this, week 8?
No, it's actually week 9.
Week 9. We plan on doing this until YouTube no longer exists. Okay, so let's get straight to it. We're going to start our show. We have a unique way of how we started. He usually has the timing down, and I usually come with the intro. Sort of like this. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, man? It's your boy, Foster
Feinstein.
Ooh, hit the mic.
No.
Hey, we back again with another YouTube show of Foster and Feinstein, where we literally talk about any and everything. There's nothing that's off the table. Nothing. I mean, there's probably things that we're not going to talk about, like things that we disagree on or things that we would find opposing views on, because we don't feel like we would want to waste you guys' time with an argumentative type of show. So,
and there is more than enough divisiveness
oh my goodness.
in the country, and the last thing in the world we need to do, is to add to it. And I have no interest in doing that anyway.
Me either. Humor, humility, love is pretty much the basis of our show. And for today's episode, I don't even know what we're going to be talking about because we have random questions. There are things that we ask each other. We have random topics that we come up with. And we also have random guests now. We're probably looking for a guest that's going to be on our next episode. So if you guys are watching this, want to be on the show, reach out to either me or Mr. Feinstein, and we'll get you on.
And there's no money.
Oh, yeah, there's no money.
No.
Eventually, when HBO, Showtime, or CNN or somebody picks us up, or Netflix, or Hulu, or Amazon Prime, should I keep going?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You've made your point.
If we get picked up on one of those stations, then we might have some money for the guests that come up. But all the guests from now on are going to be pro bono until we get that big contract.
Yes.
Yes. So what you got for me today, Mr. Larry?
Oh, okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I think I
With
went
my
first last
question. Okay. And obviously, I said it, before. If you ask somebody to come up with some questions to ask another, generally it's going to be because these are questions for which you have answers and you're curious about the other person's.
Facts.
Right? Generally, that would be the case.
You should.
So
Unless you're asking it for a devious reason.
yeah, but that deviousness does not live in this format of ours.
Factual information, brother.
That's dope. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay.
all right, here's my question. What's your earliest recollection of thinking about what you wanted to be when you grew up? That's good, right? Isn't that good?
Damn.
Yeah. Now, of course, the thing about this is, obviously, I have an answer, but, Forster doesn't, so...
Yeah, I gotta dig deep.
You need to ruminate and cogitate,
Okay.
and then explain
Let me see. The first inclination that I ever had a thought of what I wanted to be
Yeah.
probably would be around, I would say like 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
It was literally, I remember I loved to be funny. So I thought that eventually I was going to either become a comedian or a lawyer. The reason I say lawyer is because in me being funny, I always had something to say. I always had a comeback, right?
Uh-huh.
And my dad didn't find a lot of the things that I thought was funny being funny, especially when he was trying to be serious about do this, do that, you need to listen to me, boy, this and that, right? And if I had a comeback to say, he would be upset because the comeback was in turn funny coming from a kid, but he was like, you need to be a lawyer because you argue too much. I always got something to come back on. I never can just like let things be. So the age of like 5 or 6, I remember being like, oh, I'm funny. I want to be a comedian. My parents used to always watch like stand-up comedy and stuff like that. And so I used to think, and in all of the TV shows growing up and like, I guess I watched cartoons back then, but all the TV shows always had a lead character that was funny. Thinking about the 90s in which I grew up in, there was a sitcom era where almost every show was like, I didn't watch anything that wasn't funny. And so I wanted to be like the main guy, the Fresh Princes,
So, you're carrying that, forward a little bit. But, who would have been like the model? Who would you...
the model?
Yeah, who would be like closest to what you kind of thought about when you were a kid? When you were, a bit older and watching...
Probably like Eddie Murphy or like a Will Smith or a mixture of the two. And I don't. Did Will Smith do any stand-up comedy? I don't think he did. Huh?
I don't know. I don't think so. His was the. He obviously did. Rap.
Right.
But I don't think he did stand-up. I don't think he's. I don't think he's that funny.
Okay.
In that funny in the way Eddie Murphy was funny.
Right. Yeah.
And unless I'm mistaken, age-wise.
They're definitely about 10, 15 years apart.
Right?
In age, yeah.
Yeah.
So then with the thought process of me doing that, it transitions to me being in school, being the funny guy. Everybody that's watching this that knows me from back in the school days, I was a class clown. I got nominated for that my senior year. I always was telling jokes, always ragging on people, always doing the attention. I always needed the attention on me, the spotlight on me. And then transitioning out of high school, for about 10 years, a 10-year period, I literally considered myself lost of not doing anything that I thought I was going to be doing. I took jobs here, went to school, did these little things, military, and never was able to focus on what I was good at naturally. So I had to learn new things, learn how to be a better student, learn how to be a good worker, learn how to be, a good subordinate. And once I learned those things, got that under my belt, then after that 10-year period, I started honing back into my entertaining side of life, which I think that is going to be a part of my life forever now, which is music, videography, pictures, public figure type of thing, just being in the public eye. I feel like that's just part of my passion.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, I think the kind of whether it's late teens, but like 20s. 20s are a very every decade is interesting, but the 20s is really very much of a transitional time when somehow you're thinking when you're younger, 16, 15, 17, that like 21 you're going to be like. You're going to be a grown-up, and you're going to have it kind of sorted out.
Right.
And then you head into the decade, and it's like, what the fuck?
Right. It's all this stuff thrown at you.
Yeah. So it can be a tough time for a lot of people.
Yes.
The 20s, and there are statistics that would kind of bear that out, but
we're not going there.
We ain't going there.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to be a boxer.
I definitely fought a lot and could fight, but I didn't think I would ever pursue it because you got to be really disciplined to be a boxer, and I had zero discipline.
I'm just trying to think age-wise. Where was your Uncle Ernie in terms of your age?
He was about he was my granduncle, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
He's
Okay.
my mom's uncle.
Way older.
Way older, yeah. He had me by like 40 years, 50 years.
Okay. One of the things that was really interesting was finding out that Foster's
granduncle,
uncle was a great uncle.
Or great uncle. It's great uncle if they're your grandmother's uncle, right? Since he was my mom's uncle, he's granduncle. Grand and great, or is it great uncle?
Anyhow, he was, and regardless of
time frame,
Ernie Terrell. And when Foster told me, I knew about Ernie Terrell because for whatever reason I've always liked boxing, and it's not even that I feel I need to defend myself because it's a violent sport or any of that. I don't really give a shit. I've always never involved because I have no patience for being hurt by anybody. So I would probably run from a fight. I've never had one, by the way. Okay. When I was 13, a kid got me in a headlock.
Oh, man.
And I cried. And that's it.
No,
that's it. Honestly, I swear to God, that's never even close to confrontation after that. But when Foster told me about Ernie Terrell, I remember Ernie Terrell fighting, I will always refer to him as the champ, Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali took the belt from him, too.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the champ when he fought Muhammad.
No. But, so it's like, oh, wow, that's incredible. Anyway, should I go now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
De nada.
That too. It was interesting that you said what you did because I wasn't gonna go all the way back there first. I was going to start off maybe when I was I don't know, 10 or so, when I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
Which I want to get to because that's more of the story, I suppose. But I've actually written about this when I was much younger than that, maybe 3-4 years old. My father was a traveling salesman, and when he would come home, I would always meet him at the door. Oh, I never showed you a hat. Remember I told you, but would put on a. I would wear. I told Foster an old man's hat. It's the hat that I wish I could think of somebody that would, for your younger people, that you would readily, you'd be able to visualize it. And I can't explain it, but It's a hat that men wore, oh my God, in the probably the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. I would take one of those hats of his, which didn't fit, and I would meet him at the door, and I would do an imitation of an old vaudeville comedian who actually ended up having a television show and did movies. His name was Jimmy Durante.
Never heard of
And no, my God, you wouldn't. And he was referred to as Schnauzola. He had a really big nose, the schnoz.
Okay.
But he would perform. He was a comedian and singer. And his big thing was he would, at the end of his show, he would kind of walk into the shadows, and there would be spotlights. And he would gradually walk further back out of the spotlights. But his favorite thing is he would take the hat and he would do like, ink-a-dink-a-doo, ink-a-doo.
What the fuck?
I shit you not. It was ink-a-dink-a-doo.
I'm about to check him out.
No, you have to check out ink-a-dink-a-doo. So I did that, and I really enjoyed it. And I do, I have always enjoyed, making people laugh.
Okay.
And I'm funny. And no, shut up. And I don't say that. I swear to God, with really no conceit. I mean, I've been around myself, a long time, and I make people laugh. So that was that part. But around 10, I decided that I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
And I had an office.
What the hell?
I didn't have a shingle. But I had an office in the basement of my house. It was kind of an unfinished basement, and it was okay. And I had it like in the bathroom down there, and I had like a little box of index cards, alphabetized, for my patients. Mm-hmm. And I only had one patient in that time. His name was Robert Ross, and he hurt his knee. Okay.
What did you prescribe to Mr. Ross?
Quaaludes.
Oh shit!
No. That's what you do. See, that's funny. That's funny.
That's funny. If you know what a Quaalude is.
Yeah, that's right. I put like mercurochrome or something on his knee and a Band-Aid, and I wrote it down on the card that it was my patient.
Wow.
So, and that kind of really kept me, that kept me going until maybe 19 or 20.
1902
no,
or 1920?
No, 19 or 20 years old, dipshit. That, wanting to be a doctor. And then I registered, or I went pre-med in college.
Okay.
And I think I didn't get past my first term in my sophomore year of pre-med. I had biology, and everybody got a little pig, a little baby pig. They were dead. And they were injected. Their veins were injected with like a blue dye, and their arteries were injected with a red dye. So you'd open them, and you'd see their organs and the circulation. It didn't get me sick or anything, but it wasn't the most interesting thing. And then I realized I was not that good a student, okay, and that medical school required a commitment of at least 7 years of school.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Hours and hours.
And then interning for a couple of years. So it was probably like maybe 10 years of really intense kind of study. Mm-hmm. And it was really clear to me that I didn't have that kind of focus. You know, I mean that.
You weren't able to focus your energy.
No, and I didn't. It's not something I wanted to be that badly.
Okay.
And then I let it go. And again, getting back to the thing about the 20s, so there I was, I don't know, 18, 19, and it's like, fuck, I don't know, what am I going to, I lost my easy identity.
Right.
And then the objective for me was getting out of college in 4 years.
Okay.
All right? With as little effort as possible.
Okay.
So I switched my major to political science.
Political science.
Yeah. I switched it to political science because
that's a big change, brother.
Yeah, well, I went from very, very hard to easy. And the reason why it was easy, and I've forgotten her name, there was a professor who taught 3 classes
Okay.
that were worth 9 credits.
Oh shit.
And I'm not sure how many you needed for a major. 21 or something like
I forgot. I should know the answer.
Well, but they were real easy, so I said, well, that's it, political science.
All right.
Get the answers beforehand and all that. So, so that's is kind of my story rather than, pushing it on, and then we won't. The story of my life will probably take a little bit longer than the half hour we allocate.
All right, well done.
So that those are our early stories. But it's interesting, and how we end up now here is that when you were really young, you looked for humor, and again, in humor there is entertainment. Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't open your mouth.
Facts.
And now here we are.
Yeah. That's how it goes. That's how it goes, though. It's like never try to be too in control of your destiny when it comes to people, right? We always like to surround ourselves with people who look like us, think like us, walk like us. But in the sense of you break that barrier and you accept people that feel right in your life, you can literally find somebody that's 200 years older than you and live and have the same type of outlook. Have the same.
I'm okay. No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
We literally started off with the same aspirations, right? And life took us in totally different directions, but then it brought us back here. And so it leads me to my next question.
No, it's your first question.
Oh, my question.
Yeah, your question.
The next question, I should say.
Yeah.
Is it pertains kind of us meeting anyway?
Right.
Because what was your reasoning for coming to Hawaii the first time you ever came here? And I'm not talking about vacation if you ever came before vacation, but to come here and live here. What was your reasoning behind that?
That sounds kind of wow. I'll do an abbreviated version because it is a kind of a long story. I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I had been there about 15 years. I moved there in 1983 from 40 plus years in New York City. Why I went there is not for now. And going to Santa Fe felt very much like I was finally kind of starting. I was viewing my life more as a journey than I ever had before. And I was interesting when you get an age. I was in my I was 43.
Okay.
When I moved to Santa Fe.
So that was only 100 years ago then.
Yes. Yeah.
43 in Santa Fe. Okay.
Yeah. And I voted for Grover Cleveland. You don't even know fucking Grover. You probably think Grover is like
the fact that I don't know who that is means that's a long time.
It's probably Grover to you. It's probably the Sesame Street
100%.
character. Yeah, there we go. So, let's do this contract. I did so many wonderful things in Santa Fe. I led a very colorful, very full life.
He had a wolf.
I had a hybrid. It was a hybrid wolf, but we don't want to.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Time is ticking.
Yeah, and
it's our show. We can say we can stay how long we want.
Yeah, but it's also
disrespectful
our audience.
Right. Thank you guys for watching this long as
well. It started to feel like I had done what I needed to do, moving from New York to Santa Fe. In addition, the climate it's a rough climate in that it's incredibly dry. Yes. I mean, really dry. Winters got cold. Yeah. There was a ski basin right, in town. It was, admittedly, it was, and Santa Fe was about maybe 6,500 feet elevation. Ski basin was 14,000 feet. So it was a combination of the really dry and the cold, and kind of feeling that my work was done, and the climate really felt like it was beginning to take a toll on me. It was starting to wear my body out. Okay. And Hawaii had been mentioned by a friend. I knew nothing about it, nothing. I didn't know the names of the islands or. And I do what I always do, going forward. I ask people, do you know anybody? So I knew a fair number of people in Santa Fe. So I said, you know anybody in Hawaii? So I ended up having connections on the Hilo side of the Big Island and Kauai, and knew nothing. I really thought, I honestly, and I didn't go online, I didn't look for pictures, nothing. I really thought Hawaii was like really tropical. And there were like parrots and shit. I saw, I kid you
Nah, I
not.
believe you.
All right, and it wasn't like heavy traffic or anything. Because prior to that, I had spent a fair amount of time around Central America.
Okay.
And I had this idea, well, it was kind of similar, but Central America, the humidity would just you needed a knife to
Yeah.
walk around.
You were wet right when you walked outside.
Yeah. So, how did this go now? Okay. I went first, I gave myself a week. So I flew to Hilo, to the Big Island. I went to Hilo, stayed with a really nice couple, and I was there for like 3 days, met some people because I had made arrangements to meet people, which I'm really good at. I didn't like it. It felt big.
Yes, you
What a shock, the Big Island.
Yeah.
I don't know, I really wanted to somehow think that the ocean was like really close by. And you can be in places on the Big Island and you really,
You're hours away, yeah.
you don't get the feeling. So then I came here, and I was a little concerned because I figured my plan was based on moving to Hawaii, and I shot 50% of it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking to myself, shit, if this doesn't work, what the fuck? I'm going back to Santa Fe. My plan is right down the toilet.
Right.
So I came from Oahu here, sitting on the left side of the plane, and when you approach the island, and you're sitting on the left side on a window seat, you look down, and the island it fills that window.
Yeah.
So honestly, I looked down, and it was like, oh yeah, and it was just this really kind of a calm sense that oh yeah, this is it.
Nice.
All right. So now I can move very quickly through it. So I landed, obviously, and met some people. One of them was a guy that somebody told me to connect with, and we did. Got together for a drink, and he said to me, I'm not interested in roommates or anything like that, but my kid's coming to live with me, and I'm going to need some extra money.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to have to look for a roommate. And I'm there only for like 3 days, and I had no plan. I mean,
Wow.
So I said to him, okay, how much you want for rent?
So you came.
Okay.
You came.
And
off
this
the
is like,
set.
how's it, like February? So I said, I'll start paying you starting April 1st. I'll pay your rent, and I'll figure out how I'm gonna get here. So I decided to move here on just an exploratory visit, and made the arrangements, and it was a done deal. And the only other thing I would add, and it's really funny, I wrote about it a little bit today on my blog. Kauai has been so good to me, and it was just a follow through on that feeling I had looking down from that window on the left side, thinking, oh yeah,
So
this place is going to be very, very good to me, and she has. So was that the question?
yes, no, pretty much in a short sense, you moved here because New Mexico was starting to dry you out. Literally.
Well,
Because-
literally, and in a way, and I wouldn't say
Well-
necessarily figuratively either, but it was an unbelievable adventure leaving New York City the way I did, and blah blah blah.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect you say that because I don't mean to cut you off, even though I did.
Yeah,
It's because my story has a lot of similarities to that, so I want to get to it before we run out of time.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, okay, do it.
Is
I'm
that
done.
my reason for moving to Hawaii was literally because I didn't want to go to Japan. Let me tell you the reason of this. I joined the military, right? 19, went to basic training, went to Missouri, Fort Leonard, Missouri, went to technical school training. I met up with this guy. His name was Paul Keller Fernandez Balbarona. I might be missing a piece of his name. He has a really long name. He's a Hawaiian and Filipino cat. Met him in basic training. We ended up having the same job, so we went to tech school together. He was a top-tier athlete. I was a top-tier athlete, so we always competed as like getting awards and trophies in basic and in tech school. And when our job listings came down, since we had the same job, we were able to go to the base at the same exact time. And the job listing that I got was Japan. I got Tokyo. I think it was Masawa. No, Masawa was Okinawa. So I forgot Yosoto. I got something in Tokyo. I got Tokyo as my first duty station to go in the military, active duty. His first duty station was Oahu. He's from Eva Beach in Oahu, and he was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go home.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, I got the jackpot. I can literally go to Tokyo or Oahu. So he begged for me to change and switch and swap bases with him.
They let you switch.
Yes, because we had the same job and we were going to the same. We were the same
Yeah.
AFSC, same rank and everything. So we switched jobs. We switched bases. He went to Yokota. I think it was Yokota. He went to Japan and I went to Hawaii. So in going to Hawaii, lived there 4 years, deployed a bunch, enjoyed it, had a great time. Had a bunch of things, ups and downs, and too as well. But he got to the point where my 4th year, I was asked would I want to re-enlist and stay in the military, and I was tired of deploying, tired of like working.
So Oahu was your base. So
Yep.
when you went to like Afghanistan, wherever you went,
you came back
to.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So that was my hub. That was my base.
Uh-huh.
And so it came up to the 4th year, and they're like, do you want to re-enlist for another 4 years? And I'm like, or active duty instead of having to do the inactive. And I was like, so that means if I do another 4 years, that means I'm going to give you guys 8 and then have to do another 4. That's like 12. So I'm like, maybe nah. And I was kind of getting a little bit of, what is it called? Not island fever, but when you're constricted to an island, you're a city boy. And you kind of feel like it's too small for you.
Claustrophobic?
Yeah, I was getting a little claustrophobic, I guess, of the island. And so I decided to leave. And I left, and I was like, where am I going to go? I don't want to go back to Chicago, feel like a failure. I'm 21 years old, and I was actually married at the time, too. And I called my brother, like, where are you at? And he just left Germany, where he was stationed, and ended up getting stationed at Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I called him, like, hey, man, what's up? I know you just bought a house there, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I can help you out with some rent. And he was like, bro, like, you don't even understand. He's eating peanut butter, jelly, and tuna to survive because he bought this house on a salary in which, you know, he wasn't making a lot of money. And me coming out there, I was going to be able to help split half of the bills down. And that's what I did. So I moved to Albuquerque, lived there for like 2-3 years. And then
What'd you do? What did you do there?
I went to school. I was a car salesman. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I was a car salesman for like 2 years of that, and I went to school full time for like a year and a half of that.
Oh, no kidding, really?
Yeah.
UNM?
Huh?
Did you go to UNM?
Yeah, I went to UNM
Oh, wow.
and CNM.
Uh-huh.
Central New Mexico is the community college.
Okay.
And then UNM I took classes at UNM, and I took majority of my classes at CNM. But same thing. It got to the point where I was like looking at the Rio Grande every day. I would drive past, and I would just see it getting a little bit lower and lower, the watermark around the river. And I'm like, hey, man, I don't know how much longer this place is going to have water. And it's like, and then I hated getting out the shower and being ashy as fuck. Like having the lotion and moisturizer, you might not get ashy. Do white people get ashy? I don't know. That's kind of racist. But.
I don't. I think that was racist.
100%. So, no,
you don't know how that, and you don't know how that feels.
Not racist. It was prejudice. Prejudiced against white people.
You're gonna.
Racist means hate, right? That's like hate.
Yeah. No.
Prejudice is
So
like.
I don't know. I think probably skin. With color and all of that. There, the probably different characteristics
I was ashy
of
as
the skin.
fuck. There's a lot of minerals in that water.
No,
So you know.
my skin was cracking, man.
Yeah,
My heels
yeah.
were cracking.
Yeah,
So
100%. And so then I made the decision, which is crazy because after I was like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I'm tired of fucking tumbleweeds. I'm tired of sand and having to wash my car every 2 days because it's so dusty. And it's not the kind of sand like here. It's like dust. It's not sand. And so I literally wrote a plan down, and I put 3 spots: L.A., Miami, Hawaii, and pretty much play spin a bottle with my future.
you did.
Yes.
Okay.
And I spent that motherfucker, or any mini mighty mode that motherfucker, and ended up on Hawaii. And I was like, dope. Okay, now which island?
Right.
That if you guys don't understand the Hawaiian island chains, each island is completely different than each other. So I knew that I didn't want to go to Oahu because I have already experienced that
Sure.
for 4 years. So I was like, either Maui or Kauai. I've never been to either. Never even know anybody on either. And so another spin the bottle, any, many, mighty, mo, landed on Kauai.
No kidding, really.
Yep, and that was 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And Kauai has been the biggest blessing of my life. I literally owe this place for the 180 that my life has changed, because at that time I was really lost. I was depressed. I was confused, but I was determined that I knew I needed to change my life, change the direction of my life, change the trajectory of my life, because I was headed in a really, really bad place, fighting and drinking and just going to jail and doing all type of shit. So yeah, now I'm here. Hawaii has been my cushion. It has been it's treated me well, and I owe it my everything. I'm forever indebted to Hawaii in a sense of all the island chains, because it really means a whole lot to me to be accepted, because I've been told that, especially this island, it'll either accept you or it'll reject you, and I have literally been accepted, and I appreciate all you from Kauai that's watching this. Thank you. Namaste.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. Good. Well, good. All right. I think we don't want to overstay our welcome,
Let's not overstay.
which we haven't,
We have it.
because I think this has been very enlightening.
Dude, every episode is better than the last. That's like, how are we gonna top this one? We need some comments, guys. Let us know, what should we do? What's the question? We're gonna get to a point in which we have the audience give us the questions to ask each other, and then that'll give them some interaction. And then
Cool.
we never gotta worry about coming up with a question or a topic. It doesn't necessarily have to be a question. It could be a topic as well. And but yeah, see how I thought of my question today. Sorry, I didn't give him enough thought, but
I was upset.
he was kind of mad at me.
So you don't? Well,
like,
you really
take
don't
this
give a,
fucking show serious.
you don't give a shit about this about what we're doing. So that's it. From now on, it's just going to be Feinstein.
But yeah, so then is this F show? That's
it.
that's
It's
a,
an F stop. It's the F stop. Ooh, that would be really cool.
I don't know
right?
about that. Nope, I like F and F.
No, I know that, but
I
I'm just thinking, F stop would be
F
kind of a
stop.
cool for an F.
F.
Yeah.
But yeah, so appreciate you guys for listening. We finally hit 200 subscribers. Thank you. Appreciate all you guys. Make sure if you haven't already, it's your first time, subscribe, like, share. You got anything else while we're out?
No, I really don't. But if you've gotten this far, which is really to the end of the program, presumably you've enjoyed it. So spread the joy, and tell your friends and loved ones that
really appreciate
this
that.
is kind of like a fun way to spend a half hour to see these two guys sharing
Right.
sharing their stories with each other.
100%. And you learn more about us, and we learn that we learn more about each other as well while being live. Like there's no pre-scripted thought to this, and no producers, none of that. Like I always say. So it was dope. It was dope to find out why you came to Hawaii, and I appreciate you sharing. We always do good, man. This is dope. All right. So
now he gets up to turn off the machine.
police. Saw the police went by.
Yeah,
Are they
they
gonna-
went by, yeah. We love it.
All right. Foster and Feinstein, we're out, baby.
We're out. Thank you. Peace out.